So last week I said I wasn't worried after a loss. This week after a win, oh boy, panic meter is.
About 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon, it was a 10.
I think around 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon, UConn had a 97% chance to win that game.
I think that is accurate. Holy shit! So, excuse the language there, but what a game! I mean,
But on the
I don't,
positive
I don't.
side, the one great thing is Fran Brown teams never quit.
We didn't quit. Obviously, much better to learn in a win than a loss, but that was not a pretty one at all, and one that I know we're going to dive into quite a bit. But we have lots of thoughts and takeaways from this. There's a lot that this team needs to improve on.
You're watching Domed in Cuse, the quick hit podcast for real Orange fans. If you love Cuse sports, hit like and subscribe. Let's go Orange.
All right. Welcome back to the Domed In Pod after a crazy UConn game. I just want to give everybody a reminder of the schedule for the week that we're going to come out with. So you'll see this preview live Sunday night. We'll have a film room out probably on Tuesday. We'll dive deeper into the film after another rewatch. And then Thursday, you'll see the Colgate preview. In all honesty, that preview is probably going to be nice, short, and sweet because it's Colgate. And we'll be gearing up for week 4 against Clemson. So if you want to get all of our content, please like and subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on X. Follow us on TikTok. We'll be pumping out the content all week. We'll be doing clips from these episodes. But if you want to watch the longer episodes, make sure to subscribe to YouTube, and you'll get that notification. And it helps us. So, we want to continue to build this channel and build this fan community. So please like and subscribe as much as possible. Tell your friends, and join us for a Syracuse football season.
Totally. Domed in Cuse on all platforms there as well.
Domed in Cuse on all platforms. Well said, Tav. All right. So as these episodes go, again, we're going to just remind you about how we'd like to do these episodes. We like to do these episodes where we jump right into a game flow summary for Syracuse and UConn. Then we're going to do a little bit of banter back and forth. We're going to touch on a few key plays that, either changed the difference or were the difference in the outcome. And then we'll do a little 3 stars, hockey guy style. Fran did a little hockey guy yesterday with little Herb Brooks. And then we'll do a Fran Brown roundup and get it all set. So that's what the tenor of this episode is going to be. So let's jump right into the game flow. As we noted, a crazy game. Starts in the first quarter, scoreless. Syracuse does go for a 4th and 2. They get stuffed in the red zone. UConn ends up scoring the first points on the first play of the second quarter. A little double pass action. UConn goes up 7-0, 14:55 left in the second. Syracuse then scores its first points of the game at 3:37 in the first half. So I want to start by giving a lot of credit to the defense for holding us in this game. There are multiple periods here as we go through the game flow where you'll see we just did not score and we needed the defense to hold on. So credit to them. And then after 3:37 left in the second half, we somehow give up a touchdown again at the end of a half that just didn't need to happen. It's another time where we gift the team a TD that doesn't need to happen. So a lot of the good work goes out the window, but that's really tough to give up that touchdown. We do bounce back at the end of the second half with no time left. We have a good drive, and we get a field goal out of it. So we end the first half down 14-6. We come into the third quarter, and we were speaking about it at halftime. There needs to be a little bit of urgency here because we can't keep going down and having to fight our way back. We then give up a field goal with 10 minutes in the third quarter, and here's another desert where we don't score again until 5 minutes in the fourth quarter. So the defense, again, does a good job for the first quarter and a half of the second half, not giving up anything except for a field goal to somehow keep us in this game. Another big 4th down conversion from Steve Angeli. So there's a lot of negatives that we'll talk about with Steve, but again, the positives. Big play on 4th down to Justice Ross Simmons with about 5:40 left in the first half. In the game, sorry. And right before this play, UConn has a 97% chance or so to win this game. We score a touchdown. UConn starts to drive a little bit. They get a 3rd and 4, basically in our half of the field, and we, for some unknown reason, decide to jump offside.
Two guys.
Yeah, 2 guys. Good point. They get a first down here, and again, a 97% chance to win this game. Somehow we hold on. The defense holds tough. They force the punt. We are inches away from being on our 1-yard line, but thankfully the ball jumps in the end zone, and we have 2 minutes to march down the field, basically. We do it, and we leave maybe too much time on the clock, so we score a touchdown with 48 seconds. Yazin Willis crosses the end zone line. Daryl Gill makes a beautiful catch on a nice throw from Steve Angeli for a 2-point conversion. And Syracuse is up 3 somehow with 48 seconds left. And then with 48 seconds left, somehow we give up another field goal, which we'll get into because 4th and game, apparently we didn't learn anything from last year. This game then goes to overtime. In overtime, Syracuse gets the ball first. We have pretty good execution in overtime. Yazin Willis does not see the field, which is confusing to me. And Justice Ross Simmons makes an unbelievable catch to get the touchdown. We take a field goal. We then let them march all the way down in overtime. 3rd and goal, Antoine Delorier gets in the backfield, knocks it away. 4th and goal, Antoine Delorier on the coverage, makes a nice play, deflects the pass. The Frenchman, he calls game. And I do want to give you credit, Tab, for coming up with the nickname, the Frenchman, because I love it and I'm going to use it all the time. Syracuse ends up winning by 7 and covering. Thank fucking God. Fran with a little rope and dope, but big time win, big time cover. A lot to be worried about, a lot to discuss.
I mean, just kind of a circus of a game. Frankly, it was an ugly football game for most of this. UConn is that was going to be a long ride home for them. Honestly, that was a game that they frankly should have won. But again, much more fun to learn in a win than a loss.
After the game, I was feeling angry. I was feeling very angry.
I had a lengthy conversation.
A lengthy conversation too. I had to call you back. I was so angry after the game. We had one call and I was so mad. I was stewing on it. I had to call you back. I was mad, and I have to say that there's a lot that made me mad in that game. The biggest thing is the coaching wasn't great in that game. To be honest with you, it was one of, in my opinion, Fran Brown's worst performances as a coach. He's talked a lot about learning and, improving. And let's focus on some of the things we should have improved on. Yazin Willis didn't touch the ball on first down. I don't know if he touched the ball on first down all first half.
I don't think he did. I think we've gone back and looked at it. We'll double check, but I don't think
he touched the ball on first down in the first half. Terrible.
It's crazy. And just after, Fran went in the press conference and said he's our best player. We need to get him the ball. He played well, but he could play better. Like
6 carries in the first half.
It's crazy. 6 carries in the first half. I believe we charted his 7th carry wasn't until the 4th quarter.
Wasn't until the 4th quarter. He ended up with 11 carries and 48 yards, so he's getting 4.4 yards a carry.
Yeah, like we've got to find a way to get the ball in his hands, and especially too, it just seems like the way we're using the running backs feels backwards. Like Willis is a bruiser; he needs to be in on early downs, and we seem to be cycling it opposite, where we're kind of starting with Nixon on the early downs and then moving to Willis for like 3rd downs, which is weird because Nixon is the better receiver. He's probably the better pass protector overall. To your point, I just don't think the coaching was crisp in this game. And that's
one of the frustrating things too, because we talked about it in our preview, was if you look at the game last year, LeQuint didn't necessarily put up big numbers, but we had talked about the fact that he ran the ball 20 times and just put it in their face 20 times. That caused UConn to have to compress into the box and give us one-on-one on the outside all game long.
And we abused that.
And we abused them, which our receivers did again because their secondary was very, very weak in this game. And we did not make them come into the box to stop the run enough. And so that's where Willis should have had 20 carries. And, Nixon, I thought, was really good in this game. He could have had more carries, honestly. So I didn't like how much we threw the ball. I think we should have ran the ball more with the running backs. And I also think Willis needs to be involved in the passing game. We talked about it. Get him some screens.
Totally. I completely agree across the board on that. And just even, even early in the game when we were having success throwing the ball, we kind of stopped getting it to the guys who were making plays. Like Daryl Gill was making plays down the field. And then he got 2 balls, I think, on the first drive for like 40 yards or something like that. And then basically didn't see it again until late in the second half.
Till the fourth quarter.
Seriously.
We
And
forgot he was on the team for a little while.
right. And it felt like all we were running in the passing game there for a little while were like slants and quick ins over the middle. And UConn was sitting on that. And I know we'll go into it more on Steve overall, but we're fortunate there weren't several more turnover plays in this game.
Yeah, I mean, Steve could have had 6 to 10 interceptions, but UConn just couldn't make a play on defense.
And particularly on offense, where I just felt like we had the personnel to really dominate this game.
Another thing from last year that I was hoping we were going to learn from, because Fran talked about it all offseason, 4th and game. And on 4th and game here, it's 4th and 10, and we have Poriola jumping into coverage, basically one-on-one with their best receiver. What the fuck are we doing? Illick Iomar, you remember that? When we just went one-on-one with him and we didn't bracket him in the biggest play of the season last year, which, by the way, if we win that game, there's a chance we're in the ACC championship. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, these are the differences between, these little differences can be huge at the end of the season. It's a similar thing in like week 2 game against Stanford, or maybe it was week 3, I forget. But it was, a similar thing where we just weren't prepared for that. And I don't understand. 4th and 10, you have to find him on the field, and you have to put Samuel or Peel on him. I don't care if it busts up whatever coverage you want to do. You have to bracket him, but you can't have it be bracketed with a linebacker. He's their best player.
Totally. I couldn't agree more. It's baffling why, one, we've talked about it. I don't even know why he was in the game for this play, to be honest.
Especially if he's not going to pass rush on that play.
Exactly. Like he's an off-ball linebacker, but really, I mean, he's a hybrid pass rusher. Like he is not a guy you have in the game on a clear coverage down to drop 20 yards downfield.
You're putting him in a bad position.
100%. Like it's just the personnel choice is bad. We've actually talked about it. I don't think he actually makes a horrible effort on this play.
No, he makes a really good play. Honestly, maybe even a bit of pass interference. He's doing a good job. It's not on him, but it's just a confusing decision.
He ran the coverage as it was done. It's a good throw. It's just kind of unfortunate. Deuce kind of gets stuck in between, and like
it's actually not a great throw. It's actually not a great throw in my opinion, which is why Deuce gets a little hesitant there because he thinks he's going to pick it, but then Bell makes a good one-handed catch. So the bad throw, kind of like last week when Carson Beck made a terrible throw and his receiver made a great play, like that kind of was what happened there. But again,
it's like that.
We talked about if that's Kerr.
Yeah. It's just the classic bad throw, slightly bad throw that the defense wasn't expecting, and the guy kind of is just like a half reflex on the wrong, weight there. And just like, obviously the play just happens, but to your point, dude, that seemed just like a preventable situation there. On 4th and 10, there's no illusion that they're doing anything but throwing the ball there. I mean, it's a very questionable personnel decision.
Okay. So 2 games, 2 end of halves at the end of the first half, where the other team gets the ball, this time with 3 minutes, last time with 1:30, and we let them march down the field. Last game against Tennessee, they run the ball for a 60-yard run or 50-yard run, whatever Bishop had, with 1:30 left. In this game, with about a minute left in the game on 3rd and 1 from our 45, we let them run the ball for 45 yards into the end zone. Again, like 3rd and 1 with a minute left in the game, and this team has no fear. UConn has no fear of just running the ball against us. They're like, oh, we're going to pop one because this team, and it's the end of half shit. It's this kind of shit that's losing football. And you cannot give up scores at the end of halves like that.
Dude, 100%. I mean, and like we were texting during that drive, we knew we were giving up points on that drive. It just like had that feeling. There wasn't much resistance. We start giving teams like 3rd and manageable downs. Like we don't get stops in 3rd and manageable. tackles.
Well, I don't want to say that because the defense was great yesterday. The defense bowed up a lot of bend but don't break yesterday, and that's what our defense needs to be. If we get that kind of effort every week from this defense, we should win games. But we
Yeah,
can't we
I'm not
can't
going
but
to
we
do that
can't
with the
give up the
defense.
ones at critical times.
The,
For most of the game it was really good, but here we are talking about end of half situation, end of game situation, and it's these moments that I personally think that's more coaching than personnel.
Yeah, I do tend to agree, generally speaking. I don't think the defense, honestly, was terrific yesterday. I thought they were fine. I think we got some stops. A lot of times UConn helped us on some of those stops.
They did. They could have ran the
Like,
ball a lot more than
UConn
they
had probably
did, and
4 or 5 just horrendous drop passes yesterday. Like,
and
guys
and
nowhere near
Fagano's
that.
not very good.
And Fagano's not a terrific quarterback. And,
No.
like, I do think the defense is probably the reason we actually won the game because, to your point, they kept us in it. We got some key stops, particularly late in the game where we need to get the ball back. But yeah, these end of clock situations or end of half, like, we're not aware. We don't seem to have the urgency to know that these are big plays in the grand scheme of the game. To your, I think you talked about it earlier, like, this led to a double up starting in the end of the half, right? Like, this is now a 10-point swing here.
The
where
old
there's a
wraparound.
touchdown, and then there's a field goal right after the half, and now suddenly we're down 17-6 at home in a game that we should frankly be dominating. And like, it's just you can't leave meat on the bone or just give away points like this at the end of every quarter or half. It's just, this is how you lose games.
The one thing I'll say though, I totally agree with you. First of all, I totally agree with you. The one thing I'll say though, to give the defense a little bit of credit, we asked for it, and I thought the tackling was much better in this game. I know it's
100%.
UConn versus Tennessee, but the tackling was a lot better. I want to spotlight a few guys here.
Yeah,
Chris Peel on the outside, big
terrific.
tackles, big tackles. He got his hands on guys and they went down. Awesome.
Totally.
I thought Deuce again. This is 2 games in a row now where Deuce is like our leading tackler. Not a good sign, but goddamn, Deuce is playing fucking well. Deuce is being a leader. Deuce is being Dart out there. Deuce is showing the guys the way. He needs some people to step up with him.
Yeah, I mean, like, where would the defense be without Deuce right now?
Seriously. Especially since Grant was out. And then Samuel. I thought Samuel was really good. I thought we locked
really
down
good.
on the outside. Him and Peel were maybe our 2 best defenders. He had a huge tackle when they had that, that's not a screen, but it was like a drag route on 3rd and 12. And Samuel came across the field, made a great hit to force a 4th down, where if they get that 3rd down, that might have been a backbreaker. So it was excellent from him. And I thought the defensive line was pretty good. I thought Tank did okay. He was in the backfield quite a bit, causing some havoc back there. I thought Jabity was up and down in that game, but he had a few tackles for loss. I think he had a sack. So a good game from him. And I thought Jaquez was really good again. So, we saw some of these guys, and Reese, I thought, also had a good game, although we sometimes didn't put him in great positions. On that 3rd and 12 screen, he was playing QB spy or some shit. So, I thought the defensive line did okay in this game. We made stops when we needed to. I'm thinking back to when UConn had that 1st and 10 at like our 44 at the end of the game, and Tank just gets in the backfield and makes a 4-yard stop on the run. So stuff like that where they needed to make some plays, they did.
I agree with that. I think we did make timely plays when we frankly needed them at the end of the game. I couldn't agree more on the corners. I thought the corners were very good yesterday. Bell had the one big catch at the end of the game, which we've already kind of addressed here. Peel and Samuel gave him nothing yesterday. And he is a good player. Like, he will probably be, he'll be on a roster, or at least in training camp next year with an NFL team like that.
Yeah, he'll be a training camp guy. I don't know if he's going to make the league. He's a little small.
Right. But like, this is like, he's a guy in a college setting. Like, this is a guy like
on a UConn team, he's really good. He's their best guy.
Like, and like Samuel, toe-to-toe with him all day long. I thought huge bounce back game from him. Like, I was really impressed with the way he played. And to your point, I think Peel is kind of an unsung hero right now. Like, he's actually playing really good football for us. Like, Tennessee didn't go after him much last week. The thing you called out, I think, is what's really encouraging. He is a very sure tackler on the outside. I think he had like 5 or 6 unassisted tackles yesterday. He is getting his hands on receivers, making plays. He comes downhill in the running game. I
Yeah,
really
not
like
just
what we did from
receivers,
that.
right? It's not just like
Yeah.
he's tackling his guys. He made a couple plays in the running game where he got the running back down by himself.
Yeah, and he's physical. He's physical in the tackling game. Like these aren't like, goofy, like kind of diving at ankles. Like he is going after guys. He's getting guys on the ground.
Wrapping them up. So and I think Samuel, same thing. I agree. I think those were maybe our two best players in defense. And then a positive I wanted to spotlight, the wide receiver group. I thought the wide receiver group was our best unit. We talked about it in the offseason, how excited we were about these guys. There's a lot of guys there, and there's a lot of guys we could touch on. Jonte Cook, who unfortunately seemed a little banged up, didn't have his best stuff. He was still a factor, though. He still made a few catches.
Yeah.
Daryl Gill came to play. It's UConn. He fucking loves UConn, this kid. He crushes them.
Loves UConn.
I thought Daryl Gill was awesome. We needed to get him the ball more. Again, Nixon, I thought, missed the point there. Let's group Villari in with the receivers. He was excellent.
Dan was
Big
awesome.
Dan is having a big year. He's looking like a Sunday player to me.
He looked really good yesterday in the passing game.
And then we can't not mention JRS, who we spotlighted him at the beginning of the season, spotlighted him after the Tennessee game. We're going to spotlight him here. We're going to spotlight him all season because he's a physical mismatch for a lot of guys. He had a huge game again. Shades of Virginia Tech last year.
Seriously, that was kind of what that was like. That touchdown felt like that. That it was like, oh my God, he's running down the sideline for a score in a game we were completely dead in the water.
We were dead in the water. He gives us life again. I also thought Russell and Hornsby, they got involved in this game. They both look good. They both look like they're contributors at this level. I'd like to see us continue to get the ball in their hands. Russell had the one red zone touch where if he cuts it inside, he's taking it to the house. And he cut it outside. Young guy, a little bit of a mistake. It happens. He's trying to make a play. He's pressing a little bit. But I like the ingenuity there, trying to get him the ball in space, because I thought him and Hornsby were really good.
I mean, he does look quick. I didn't anticipate Russell was going to be quite this shifty and speedy. Like he honestly, he does look like John. It's hard. Him and Jonte are easy to confuse on the field together. Like
him, Jonte, and Hornsby, they all kind of look the same.
Totally. I thought the receiving group was super encouraging. JRS just is a physical mismatch on the outside, no matter who we're going to play this year. He's a guy that we've just really got to make sure we don't forget about, I think, on the outside, because he's a guy who opens up things for other guys. Because teams need to kind of rotate coverage to him just because he's a problem physically. And then that opens up things over the middle for Dan and some of the other guys. But I think just overall, really, really encouraging from this group. And I know we talked about it heading into the year that this is probably our deepest group. I mean, we haven't even seen a couple guys like who we thought might be contributors. Like Emmanuel Ross is still hurt, hasn't even played this year. He was maybe Hatcher. Like we've got guys like who we know can contribute. Exactly. This group is 8-9 deep. Like this is a really, really strong receiving group. And again, Pop today is one that frankly is a group that we just need to we need to figure out some of the offensive distribution on just like getting the ball in the hands of playmakers, because we've got a lot of guys and we need to figure out how to utilize them better.
Finally, I do want to touch on this because we touched on Willis to begin, so I want to end with Nixon. When we say we want Willis to get the ball more, it is not we don't like Nixon or we don't think Nixon should get the ball. Nixon had 6 catches for 47 yards, and he had 9 carries for 30 yards. I like that we give Nixon the ball, and I like that it's a steady amount. It's 9 carries, it's 6 receptions. I like that. Like he had 77 yards on 15 touches. That's exactly where he should be. He should be 15 to 20 touches, mix it up in the passing game, mix it up in the run game. I would just like to see a few more of him being change of pace to Willis, not the other way around, which I think you said. But I did just want to spotlight him because he was part of the receivers in this game. He was physical in the run game, which I love to see. He goes downhill. I love that about the way Nixon runs. He's not the biggest guy, but he runs the ball downhill. So I did just want to spotlight and make sure that like Syracuse fans know when we're calling for more Willis, it's not that we're calling for less Nixon. We just think that there's more opportunities in situations where we drop back and you end up taking sacks or you end up throwing incompletions to guys that aren't open, where if we give Willis the ball in those situations, it just opens everything else up.
Totally. I think Will Nixon honestly gave us a couple some nice sparks at times in the running game. To your point, I think we're just the mix of how we're using these guys based on down and situation is wrong right now. I'm just going to be honest. I don't think it's right. Like, I think you kind of need to flip their roles. Because like what we saw late in the game when we did go more Nixon, it was because we were in a 2-minute offense. He is good in that offense. He's very good in that offense. That's not Willis's strength, right? And when we want to be getting the ball out quick, we need an outlet in the passing game. Nixon's a huge asset there. We used him in that fourth quarter multiple times just to like keep the ball moving, get a 5-yard gain because we don't want to start falling behind the sticks. I don't mean to keep harping on this point. I do. It's a little befuddling to me how we're using these guys. Like, how many times yesterday, dude, was Willis being brought in on third down and a passing down and then pass protected? Like, why are we utilizing?
And he was good. To be fair, Willis was really good in pass pro.
But like, why is that what he's being brought in the game for? Like,
totally.
You know what I mean? Like,
totally. But my other thing is Willis had 11 carries, Nixon had 9.
Yeah.
And the only thing I have to say to that is I think that duo needs to have 30 carries a game right now for this team.
I agree.
So some games maybe that's 15-15. But a lot of games I think it should be 20 and 10. And then you get Nixon another 5 or 6 touches in the passing game so that those guys touch the ball 35 times because those guys are really, really good for us. And the more those guys touch the ball, the more chances you're going to have with your receivers one-on-one who have been excellent. And, I like that Angeli spreads the ball around. But Angeli yesterday, how many times did he throw the ball? He threw 53 times. He threw 20 incompletions. 20
that's
incompletions.
Not a winning recipe with Steve Angeli.
He needs to throw 10 to 15 less times, and those 10 to 15 touches need to go to Willis and Nixon. All right, so let's jump into a couple key plays that kind of determine the outcome of this game. And, a few things go differently. Maybe a few things go better for Syracuse, or a few things go better for UConn. And this game could have been different because it was super close. So we're going to start in the first quarter. We're going to go through chronologically. We're going to give you a few plays. We're going to give you 6, actually. So the first one is Villari on 4th and 2. We do a Villari sneak. I want to get out in front and just let everybody know I'm a kick it guy. I'm a big 4th down. Let's kick the ball. I hate giving up virtually free points. You're giving up 3 points, which later in the game you would kill for 3 points. So I get a little upset about just like this idea that you got to go for it all the time. Also, this is the beginning of the game. It's our first drive. We're coming off of a tough loss to Tennessee. I'd like to see us take a lead, establish a lead at home, just kick the ball, take the 3-0 lead, let the confidence sit a little bit. They don't end up scoring until the second quarter. Who knows how the game changes if you give your guys a little bit of confidence there and you kick the ball. Personally, I'm a big fan of kicking the ball. Now, taking that out of it, it's 4th and 2. I don't understand, and I've seen it not just for Syracuse. I've seen this across college football
100%.
On 4th and 2, 4th and 1. Guys are sneaking, doing tush pushes on 4th and 2. The Eagles don't even do tush push on 4th and 2.
Eagles don't do that, like
if the Eagles do a tush push on 3rd and 2, it's to set up a 4th and inches so they could do the tush push on 4th and inches.
Right.
I don't understand where this is coming from. I don't hate Villari getting back there for short yardage runs, but give him a shotgun run where you can snap it to him and he can get a little bit of forward momentum and run through a tackle because he can't do anything on 4th and 2 from a sneak position. I think back to the JMU Louisville game. We talked about this, where a few times on short yardage situations, JMU just put Sluga back there and just hiked it to him in the shotgun. He got a forward momentum and he ran through the Louisville defense. I would love to see Villari do that on 4th and 2, but I hate the idea of putting him in there for a sneak.
That play call was baffling to me, like legit baffling because it was a full 2 yards. Like it wasn't close. And I don't know who that necessarily falls on. Was it like, did we just not know how long the distance was, which is inexcusable. We have to know how long that distance is. But calling the trick play, sneak Villari in under the center at the last second, 2 yards, like that's goofy. It's unserious. And generally speaking, like I know you're a kick it guy. I didn't hate the call in concept time scenario, first drive of the game. You want to get a touchdown on the board. That play call is fucking ludicrous. Like as your choice to try and convert that play. Like if that's what you're trotting out there, kick the field goal. Like it's ridiculous. But yeah, like I didn't hate the overall decision. I know again we differ on this, but if you're going to do that, it needs to be a legitimate play call, and that was unserious, and it kind of set the tone for how we played for the first 55 minutes of this game. To be honest with you,
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm a kick it guy, right? And that's just what it comes down to. So that's how I view the game, and I'm going to be consistent about that all season. You know that. That's
yeah,
just where I view it, and I know we have a difference of opinion on that. I understand trying to go for the jugular against a team you're better than early in the game. I understand all that. So taking that out of it, the play call is still just baffling.
it's
So
crazy.
coaching decision one for me was a mistake, but I could understand it. Coaching decision two is just a blunder you can't make. And I don't care who calls the offense. I don't care who it is. That's on Fran Brown. Fran Brown has talked a lot about 4th and 9, 4th and 1. It was a big topic this offseason. You then can't come out and make these ridiculous play calls. And so
No,
I didn't love it. I didn't love going for it. It puts you in a situation where, as we get to our key play number 2, now it's 4th down again, and you feel like you have to go for it again because you went for it the first time. Whereas if you just took the field goal the first time, maybe you go for it still, but maybe you just decide to kick it, and then at that point in the game, it would have been 7-6. So we go for it again on 4th down. We're down 7-0. We call was this like a 4th and 3 or 4th and 4, something like that? It wasn't a 4th and 1. We're
no, it was
dropping back to
it was at
pass.
least a couple yards.
Yeah, we're dropping back to pass. Angeli just doesn't see the blitz coming. It's an obvious blitz. He doesn't see it coming. It's from the side he's looking at, right? It's not from his blind side.
It's right in front of him. He's not looking that way, but it's not the blind side, you know.
And then he just fumbles the ball, and we've talked about this. He has a sack fumble waiting to happen in every single game.
He is. He's his pocket awareness isn't terrific, and it happens in slow motion. You're like, he's not aware, and there's a guy coming behind him, and it's just it's not pretty. I think like, yeah, to your point, I felt like we got desperate on this call and we just went for it because we didn't get it the last time. And I actually felt this was a sure. I thought we should have kicked this one for sure. Like we didn't, in my opinion, you can't come out with 2 empty possessions after getting in the red zone twice. Like it's not great, but you got to get points just to get yourself feeling good. Angeli just didn't see this. This ball's got to be out quick. Like it's 4th and 2 in the red zone. Like this is not a drop 8 situation from the defense. Like they are going to be bringing pressure. This ball needs to come out. He wasn't aware. He holds it, sack fumble, gets batted back to the 40-yard line. Now UConn flips field position. Not a good situation. And it's just weird. Like again, like last year we were really good in short yardage, and particularly 4th down, 4th and short. And it has not. Week 1, we had some nice 4th down conversions. Yesterday, it was just not pretty.
A lot of that was Kyle, because we talked about this. Like Kyle used to sometimes sneak it on 4th and 2 or something like that, or a little bit longer. But Kyle wasn't a traditional sneaker. He would get up there, he'd hike it before the defense was ready. He would wait a little bit, go maybe even a little bit off the guard, around the guard, in between the guard and the tackle to get the first down. Kyle was so smart that you could let that kind of stuff happen. It looked like Brady out there sometimes, where like Brady would like get up to the line quickly and he would just quickly get the sneak. Like that was Kyle. So
Totally.
that's not here. So you have to know your personnel. And Angeli is not going to sneak the ball. I don't want him sneaking the ball ever. And again, my whole thing on 4th down is if you're going to go for it, it should be 4th and 1 or 4th and inches. And it should be close enough to the goal line where you feel like because of sneaking it, you will get a touchdown, right? Like, so the first one is a little bit closer to the end zone. So I could almost understand that because you basically get that, you're inside the 10. The second one, we're at like the 20. So you could get that. They could still stop you and you could still end up kicking a field goal. You're too far away for that decision to be made there. So I don't like that at all. But I also think if we're going to start going for it on 4th down, it really has to be 4th and 1. I don't like, unless you're at the 40 and you're in between like punting and kicking and you don't really know what to do, then you can go for it. It also, it also then forces you later in the game when you're at 4th and 10 to have to kick it because you've already gone for it twice on 4th down. We're like 4th and 8 later in the game. We have to kick like almost a 50-yarder and we miss it. So it's like the compounding of you make one decision and how that cascades.
I completely agree, dude. I didn't love like I told you, I didn't love that second decision in particular. Trying to go, it wasn't that short of a distance. We failed the first time. I mean, also last year, dude, I just felt like our variability was a little bit. Like I thought Nixon did a really good job on 4th and short last. Like there was a lot of good stuff with Kyle, but he leveraged the quint really well in different ways. We ran a lot of jet sweeps in short situations, which is just a good look to give a defense. Because like if they're worried about that guy running across, it holds linemen just for a half second. It holds guys from being able to crash down. Like I want to see more of that sort of stuff on 4th down if we're going to do this. Not gimmicky plays, not Steve in like a traditional drop back situation. Like I don't like that. Those aren't high percentage conversion plays for us right now. And to your point, that cascading of decisions, we left a lot of points on the board because of this. And, there's maybe this conversation we're having about this game needing to go to overtime. Like maybe we can take care of this in regulation, even not playing well, if we just get points on the board and take advantage of opportunities.
That's really why I felt like the first one you had to kick because you needed the lead in this game.
Yeah.
Anyway, as we get to halftime, we talked about this a lot, the giving up points at half already. So we don't need to go too deep into it. But the 3rd down run with a minute left in the game. Ay. Did we run a David Amaporiola stunt, or did he just decide to do that on his own? A little defensive tackle twist on 3rd and 1?
I have no idea what that was. Yeah, I mean, you go back and watch that play. He like takes 2 steps inside, completely loses edge contain, and that's
our best hitter Sparrow is on the wrong side of the ball because he's on the same side as the running back. So unless they're going to run counter run on 3rd down, which like let them, by the way, unless they're going to run counter run on 3rd down, like where is he? Why is he our best hitters on the wrong side of the ball?
100%. I mean, you just track that play. It's a mess from a scheme and alignment perspective, basically from the start. And this is worrisome. Like we have these issues all over tape. There's just plays throughout the game where we are just not in good positioning. You have guys who feel like they're just like completely going counterintuitive to what the scheme is or what it should be on that play. And if it's not, then that's even more concerning. But yeah, this Omoporiola play where he's basically like crashing down, stunting as if he's like a defensive, like again, stunting with the tackle coming inside. But the play is run. We have 5 down linemen. That's like to set a double edge. It's just none of this makes sense. Like, and then
I hated the 5 down lineman look. It puts Gary Bryan in a terrible position where if he doesn't make the tackle, it's a house call. So then it was a house call.
100%. It just leaves so much open space there. I don't know, man. This was an ugly play. And it's one that's frustrating because we gave up so many of these last week. And like, we were just talking on this drive, like this, we knew there was points being given up on this drive. And it's just, this was really
Which is frustrating because outside of that play, honestly, for me, outside of that play, I thought the defense was so good in this game. Like I thought they were so much better. And then this one play, and it's like, that's the backbreaking shit you can't have. Moving on to key play number 4, JRS TD number 1. We already talked about this a little bit. I think you hit the nail on the head. It felt like Virginia Tech. When he caught that ball, it was like, oh my God, we're in this game. We're alive.
Totally. I mean, like almost shocking when like seeing him running down the sideline. I was like, oh my goodness, I guess this is a ball game again. And there's randomly a lot of time left. There was 5 minutes left in the game. It's like we have a legit shot here.
Terrible coverage from the UConn secondary.
Yeah, just a botched coverage from them, to be honest.
They just let him run right down the field on 4th down.
Yeah, he ran straight. Nobody ran straight with him. Like
they had 2 guys who both neither one of them picked him up.
Not at all. But again, he was good. He was great again yesterday. He's just
physical
a big,
mismatch.
Strong body on the outside, man. I really like his game. I like that he's a local kid too from Rochester. But he's been really good these first couple of weeks. I think he's really stepping up into what feels like our wide receiver 1 role.
4th and game. We talked about this one already. This one's frustrating to me. Fran apparently didn't learn anything from last year, despite talking about learning a lot from 4th and 9 last year against Stanford. Again, you can't have their best player running unguarded down the middle of the field. You can't have their best player one-on-one against the linebacker. You you just you make like do the Bill Belichick from back in when he was good at coaching of
Anybody
don't
beat?
let them
Yeah.
do plan A. Plan A was to throw the ball to Bell. Do anything but let them throw the ball to him. If you get beat letting them throw the ball to anybody else, fine. But don't let them throw it to him to beat you. And that's exactly what we did. Take away that kid, put Samuel on him, put Peel on him in 4th and game, put one of your best players on him because those two were our best players and neither one of them were on their best player. And that to me is concerning because you probably should have bracketed him with multiple guys and you did, but you just didn't bracket him with the right guys.
Totally. 100%. It's just like, this is a tactical error. This is an error on the sideline, like before this ball was snapped, we had issues on this play and it's just not the right personnel in the game. And that's that is frustrating and it's concerning. Like you're putting this kid in a bad spot. And like we talked about, Poriola actually does what he's asked to do on this play.
And he does a good job. He does a good job. It's just not where he should be.
No, like if
he's on the field in this situation, he should be rushing the passer.
Totally. And and with that, like that's why I'm trying to be. I don't think he does exactly what he was asked to do on this play. He carried the guy deep. It's their best player. The quarterback, like we talked about, kind of makes a lucky throw that ends up like wedging it like back here. That makes it tough for Deuce to judge and like kind of gets caught in between. It just is what it is. But that situation is only there at all because you have a guy who shouldn't be running with their best receiver 20 yards down the field, and so
right. That's all I'm asking. All I'm asking is Bell or Peels on that guy in 4th and game. That's all I'm asking.
Especially with like the way like we had, I thought our corners were handling Bell, like Peel and Samuel did a good job on him all day long.
Nothing over the top. Nothing really over the top.
Yeah.
And you know what? If you want to keep those guys on the outside because they were playing so well, fine. But you have Kerr on the field. You have other guys that you could pull in this moment. You had guys like what's his name?
Some plays in the game. Like Kerr looked good yesterday.
Yeah, you have
pass interference penalty, which we may address at a certain point, but I didn't like that call. But
you have Perry, who I don't even think's on the field at this point in the game.
No,
you have guys you can use to put in the game here to maybe make a play for you instead of Poriola, but you put a guy in a bad position again. I don't love that. All right, finally, the last play of the game. The last play we're going to talk about is JRS touchdown winner. What a catch. An unbelievable catch. Strong hands, reach the ball over the end zone, secure the catch going down. Excellent. Just an excellent, excellent play by him. He was so good all game. He's been so good the first 2 games of this season. Like you said, he's trending to be our number 1 wide receiver right now.
Totally. I mean, he is just strong as fuck on the outside, dude. Like that play, that was a straight up post up, box out catch. Like he got position. He's like, I'm holding this. It's a great throw by Steve, by the way. Actually put it right on his hand.
It's a great throw.
Right, only where JRS can get it, but it's seriously what that was. He got position, held it because he's stronger than every defensive back he's going to play against, and then just makes the play. Like that's all hands catch. Like that's honestly it's a Sunday's catch. I don't know if he ends up being that sort of guy, but just a really really great play from him here. Obviously gives us that touchdown lead that we really needed in this overtime. Like, dude, we could not kick a field goal in this.
No.
So just really huge. And obviously he ends up scoring a couple big late touchdowns there.
I love the mix of our pass catchers. JRS is super physical. Villari is super physical. Then you have speedsters like Cook and Russell and Hornsby, and then you have your vertical threat and Gill and hopefully Hatcher when he's fully healthy and back on the field. So you've got a great mix of a lot of different type of pass catchers, and not just JRS, but a lot of guys caught big passes in this game. And again, I just want to say like that group was our best group in this game, the pass catchers, because I'm going to group Valari in with them.
I agree. I think now that we've seen it for a couple weeks, I think that's our best group on the team, like top to bottom. Like the running back's also very good, but it's just a limited.
And secondary is also pretty good, but those are really the top 3 units for us.
100%. Those are clearly where our talent is just a little bit elevated in those 3 groups.
All right. So let's get into our 3 stars. Again, this is like my little hockey guy coming out. I'm a little Herb Brooks today. 3 stars, Syracuse only. Let's touch on it. I wanted to put this guy, we'll go 3, 2, 1. I wanted to put this guy number 1, but I was vetoed.
I mean, if this game ended at the 6-minute mark in the 4th quarter, he would have been number 1,
Jack Stonehouse. So yeah. Jack Stonehouse was just about everything we thought he is, and he's a pro punter. I think he's going to get drafted. He's that good. He's probably going to get drafted. He'll definitely play on Sundays. Just to give you some stats, he had 5 punts for 266 yards. He averaged 53 yards a punt, and he had 1 inside the 20. Yeah. That was the difference in this game in a lot of ways, because there was a lot of times where we held UConn at just about their 40-yard line, right around midfield, where he was averaging 11 yards more per punt than the UConn punter. And that difference in field position honestly saved us multiple, probably field goal attempts, maybe even, touchdowns. I just thought he was excellent, and I think he deserves a lot of credit because small details can be a big difference in football.
Dude, 100%, man. Stonehouse is a pro. Like, this guy's like an all-American level punter, and he was booming them yesterday. I mean, like, to your point, like, if we don't have 50-plus yard punts from him every time, basically, in this game could have gotten out of hand a lot quicker. And I will say, just as a slight note, our special teams overall has been a lot better this year, outside of obviously Stonehouse, but the tackling on special teams, like the punt coverage, was fantastic yesterday.
Yeah, they had 4 punt returns for 8 yards, so 2 yards of punt return. That shows you that he's hanging the ball, giving enough time for the guys to get down there. And I think somebody you spotlighted to me yesterday was Moultrie Goodard, number 22. Dude, like, he's a linebacker that maybe needs to see some time.
Yeah, dude, he is getting down the field on kickoff and he's lighting guys up. And maybe we need to get some of that attitude on defense. I don't know if he's able to play linebacker, obviously maybe there's some limitations there, but I'd like to see us maybe reward the kid or something, even just to show the rest of the team. This
is the attitude we want. And I would love to maybe, maybe he's an ideal candidate for when a team is running the ball down our throat. You just throw him in the game and just say, go down a hill and hit somebody.
Right, exactly. Go blow up a fullback in the hole. Do something,
Yeah, go get the running back. Just go tackle him. Because that kid, he was like a dog with a bone in punt coverage. Totally. But again, Stonehouse, I just want to say, I mean, that was excellent. He was excellent in that game. Without small details like that, you don't win that game.
Not at all. Not at all.
Punter you, baby. I love being punter you.
Punter
Let's
you.
Continue that. All right, number 2. The Frenchman, Antoine Delorier. So the number one thing about him is what I've seen. He's not the most fleet of foot. He's not necessarily always lined up in the right position coaching. But he is a guy who, when he gets his hands on players, he tackles them. They go down.
Yeah, he's yoked. I mean, there's no guessing if he's strong enough to play at this level. He is strong enough. Again, he's maybe not the most fleet of foot guy, but he's very sure. He's sure-handed. I also think he's generally positioned pretty well. I mean, we're not
instincts. He's got the right instincts. I think pre-snap, the positioning is questionable, but that's for the whole defense.
Totally, 100%. But I mean, what a couple plays to end this game from this kid. I mean, he's a freshman linebacker, obviously playing on the two most high leverage plays of the game. Has the wherewithal to get his hands up to make a deflection in the backfield on one play, and then the next play, same thing, has a guy open, sees him going to make a play, gets his arm up in coverage. Like, how many times do you see guys in coverage not get their hands up? You
Not
know,
get their hands up. Instead, they'll go try to hit the guy or do something. He just puts his arms out.
he
So
just
you're
got
not going to get the call.
he
You're
gets
and
big and
and
makes
just
it tough.
deflects the ball away.
Yeah. It's just a really good fundamental play, dude. Like that is the sort of like level of like attention to detail, fundamental like return to fundamentals that you and I are like just begging out of the defense. Like that's what we want to see. Like I don't need spectacular. I want well placed in position, sticking to our fundamentals, making sure we're just in the right spot. And I think
On the other side of that, you say you don't want spectacular. Well, I've been calling for somebody to pick up the Marlowe Wax clutch gene, and that felt a little bit like the Marlowe Wax clutch
I
gene.
mean
Third
it
and
was
goal
clutch.
from the 3, he makes the play. Fourth and goal from the 3, he makes the play. The Frenchman calls game. We love to see that. That's the kind of thing that we need from somebody in that linebacker core is somebody make a play.
Totally. And look, coming from two guys with some loyalties to French Canada, we couldn't be more pumped. You know, like
Go Habs, go, baby.
I was gonna say we may need to have some Frenchman gear coming soon.
Yeah, we may need to have some Frenchman gear. Maybe I could meet Antoine and we can go to the Bell Center together. I don't know if he's a hockey guy, but that would be fun. Um, moving on to number one star of the game, JRS,
Yeah.
Justice Ross Simmons. We've talked about him already at nauseum, but I can't keep giving this kid enough credit.
I couldn't agree more. And I honestly like obviously the 2 touchdowns are awesome, amazing. Even just looking back, dude, this kid's journey coming back to Syracuse, like he left a pretty good situation in Colorado State, comes back home. He's from Rochester. Last year was tough for him, dude. He was hurt all year. He never really got going. He stayed loyal. He came back, has worked his ass off all offseason, and he looks really good. He looks like a kid that has had a vision to be the number 1 receiver at Syracuse all offseason. And he's showed up. He's so consistent on the outside. I'm really, really impressed with what we've seen with him. I honestly am a little bit bitter that he was hurt last year because holy shit, would we have had an unreal set of pass catchers last year if he would have been healthy to go along with Meeks, Scats, and Pena, that crew of guys. But this kid's been really good, and I'm happy for him. I'm really glad that he's kind of gotten over the injuries from last year, and he's starting to showcase sort of why we brought him in. I mean, this kid was a productive receiver at the D1 level at Colorado State, and we had high hopes for him when we brought him in last year.
Totally. Love everything he's given us. He's been great. Hope he keeps it rolling. So number one star, JRS. Let's go into some honorable mentions because I think individual performances in this game, there were a few that I thought were really good. I'm going to start with Villari. He was another guy. He probably, if you had come in here and said, I want to give Villari number one star of the game, I don't know that I would have terribly disagreed with you. He was that good.
Totally, 100%. Like Big Dan has taken a leap this year, and I know there were folks, some folks in the fan base who were like trying to question a little bit. Like OG is a lot to replace at tight end, right? Like he's dynamic pass catcher.
Villari didn't have the best year last year.
He did, and I think there was like he was in a role that I think like was tough for him. I think getting back into more of a integral part of the offense where he is more heavily involved in the passing game and less in the run scheme, I think is helpful to him.
But he was a good blocker really yesterday too.
Very good. He was much better yesterday. I really impressed with Dan to start this year. Like he's looking like a guy who's going to have a chance to play on Sundays. Honestly,
the other thing I said at the beginning of the season was, on the defensive side, it was who's going to replace big time plays from Marlowe. And on the offensive side is who's going to catch those big passes on third down that Jackson Meek used to catch that are just the tough catches. You're going to get hit, but you got to come down with the pass. And that's been Villari this year. Villari on third down, he's been open over the middle. He's taken hits. He's made good catches. He's secured the ball. Last year I think he didn't get involved enough, and that caused a few drops. And then he didn't quite have the productive season he wanted. But 2 years ago he looked great, right? And so this is kind of a return to that 2 years ago for him. And
totally,
he looks excellent.
A little bit yesterday too, dude. Like a couple of years ago when he popped on the scene, we had first moved him to tight end. Like I remember when realized it was like, oh, this guy might be something because he just caught a couple drag routes and just ran through dudes, and like when he starts to rumble, he gets his confidence back. Like he's a weapon. He's hard to bring down. He's like a guy that defenses really do need to worry about.
So I'm happy to spotlight him. A couple other guys we wanted to spotlight, Peel and Samuel. We've talked a lot about them in this recap. They were excellent.
Very good. Very, very good.
tackling, defense, keeping Skylar Bell kind of contained. I know he still had 105 yards, but it was 105 yards on 11 catches, so
Right.
it was a good job. That's 10 yards a catch. That's totally fine.
Totally. I really am happy that we brought in Peel from Georgia. Like that was a big get. One, obviously he's been good. But I also think just really that's a good guy to have Samuel looking up to, playing with out there. Like that's a guy he can learn from. A lot of the same similar kind of physical tools. Like I'm really happy with what we've done at corner there with bringing in Peel, and obviously Samuel, just huge step forward yesterday. Really encouraging.
Deuce led us in tackles. I'm not going to say much more than Deuce continues to do exactly what I expect of Deuce. Deuce is a leader. Deuce continues to be a leader. He continues to play great. So ho hum, Deuce, another great game. Continue it, Deuce, because this is what we expect of you. We expect you to be the best player on defense, and you have been. So keep doing that.
Totally. There's a ton on that kid's shoulders this year. I mean, like he's carrying a big load
And he
on
showed
defense.
up the first 2 weeks. Both
And he
weeks he's
has.
been excellent. So just keep
We,
doing that.
like we've
We don't
talked
even
about, I
need to
don't know where we
spotlight him
would
because we know how good he is.
He's pretty much indispensable to me.
But we know that. We know how good he is. This is how good he is. This isn't a surprise at all seeing the way he's playing. I
No.
love to see it, but I'm not even the slightest surprised that he's been maybe our best defensive player so far. And then Jabity. So Jabity, 1 sack, 2 tackles for loss. Pretty good game from him. He was disruptive. I thought Tank was pretty good as well. So I thought Hawkes was good. I thought the defensive line was okay yesterday. David Reese, another guy who was pretty good. He had a pass deflection, which what are we Let's have him rush the passer, huh?
I think that's what we brought him in to do. You know. But maybe
But
not.
that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. So I thought, a bunch of individual performances from guys, and I thought they were really good yesterday.
Totally.
We're back. Fran Brown Roundup, final piece of this. We have to start with the moment that's gone completely viral. Maybe make ourselves go viral here. Fran Brown was making everybody run sprints. I think we were going to have a difference of opinion on this. This is going to be good because we kind of talked about it. I've mentioned it a few times. I'm going to continue to say it. I'm a hockey guy. Love the Herb Brooks here. Love making the guys run. It is a little performative, but it also is just a little bit of a message where, hey, the intensity in the first half felt like a preseason scrimmage. And the famous line from Herb Brooks is, you don't want to play in the game. You don't want to skate hard in the game. I'm going to make you skate hard now. So you don't want to run in the game. I'm going to make you run now. And I think that to me, I respect the hell out of that move by Fran. It's a wake up call of, don't take anything lightly. We've got Colgate coming up next week. We should plan to beat them by 60 points. And let's not take our foot off the gas and win 28-5 or 28-10. I don't even know how they would get to 5. That's how mad I am.
Say, that's an interesting score choice there.
Let's not win 28-10. But that my only problem with it is I think he should have had him, Jeff Nixon, and E-Rob also running with the team, because that was a terrible coaching effort. So as much as you might want to put that on the players, because yes, the intensity to start the game wasn't good enough, and we had to dig deep to find a way. They did dig deep, and they found a way. But it was despite coaching's best efforts to blow that game.
Yeah, I have a couple different sets of thoughts there. I agree. If you're going to have them run, the coaches should have been out there running with them, because they were as complicit as that in that game as any of the players were. I thought the coaches were not really prepared for that game. I'll just be totally frank. And I love
Actually,
Frank.
we've harped on E-Rob a lot, but he might have been the best coach in that game for us.
Of the coordinators, I think he was yesterday. I just, in my opinion, you need to be careful with some of this stuff. Like to me, it felt a little cheesy. I thought it was a little gimmicky to have them do it after the game. Like the guys aren't really running. I see I know what you're getting at. Like it's more of a it's more
message sending. It's not about the running.
It's a principle of like exactly what you're saying. Like you don't want to run in the game, or we're going to run now. Then we just need to be careful with some of this stuff. I think like where I worry a little bit here is like, particularly when, you're going to say things in a press conference, right? And you're really emphatic about getting certain guys the ball and guys need to play better. And then when the coaches don't deliver on that, they need to be held accountable in the same way that your players do, right? And
Fourth
that's
and
where you
game.
just
We
got to
talked
be
about it all
careful with some of
offseason.
this stuff is like, guys see this, they hear it. They're very well aware. These kids are, they're 20
They're
years
smart.
old, right?
They're plugged in.
They're aware, and so like that's the only thing I'm concerned about is like you don't want to like just do too much. I would say that just feels too performative without making sure we fix substantive issues that the coaches are a big part of right now. And so I didn't love it. I'm fine with it going viral because I think it fits Fran's brand. And again, it's more of a principle thing here, but I don't want to see this again this year. Like this was cute.
I think it's a one-time thing.
Yeah.
I think it's a tool he's pulling out of his pocket. He knows it's a one-time card he has to play, but I think my one thing about it is I think it's well timed. I don't think you could do this in week 7, week 8 when guys are exhausted. It's week 2, and you have week 3 versus Colgate coming up next. So it's a message of let's not take Colgate lightly, which I like. And then also, you're hoping, and we should play a lot of backups versus Colgate. So we're not going to have a full week of toughness before Clemson, and then we're going into Clemson. So it's kind of a wake-up call before Colgate where you're going to be able to rest some guys, and then you're going down into Clemson, and it's like, let's get serious. This season, we don't want it to slip away. And so if you're going to do this, it's the right time to do it, in my opinion.
If you're going to do it at all, it's now, right? Like you do it early in the year in a game that everybody does know that you should have won by more, right? Like we were lucky to come out of this.
A game you should have lost that you should have won by more.
Right, exactly, right. So that's a lot to package into one there, but so I understand it from that level. To me, it felt a tiny bit unserious and a little bit based on like how we kind of finished and ended that game. It was almost like we should just get out of here.
It's performative. Performative, but I actually almost rather he did it in the win than doing it in a loss. I think it's a lot more effective doing it during a win and being like, that wasn't good enough, because that's also how I felt. My only thing is he should have been running sprints too, because I don't think he was good enough. And, we've talked about this. Fran is somewhat new to being a head coach. The in-game stuff he's going to get better at. This was not his best performance as a coach, and I'm okay with that. But I'm going to still hold him accountable as well, right? And I don't think he would have a problem with that. But here's the thing. He needs to be held accountable because some of the things he's been talking about were not executed in that game. And like you said, if you're going to make a big statement in the media, like Willis has to get the ball, or you're going to put 4th and 9 on T-shirts, then you can't leave their best player covered by a linebacker. Like these are the kind of things that need to be improved upon. And I appreciate that he takes it seriously, but I want to see him now. I don't care what he says in these press conferences. I want to see him actually take action. I want to see Willis run the ball a bunch versus Colgate early and then take him out of the game. You know what I'm saying? And then I want to see against Clemson, if there's a big 4th down, I want to see the play call be right, put guys in the right position, be successful. Don't let Clemson's best receivers have one-on-one on the outside.
Totally. This is, I feel like, going back even to like, I think how we started kind of the pod is teaching in a win is a lot easier than teaching after a loss, right? You could not do this after a loss. That would just be like a demoralizing, embarrassing situation to do that to guys after a horrible loss at home the game they knew they should have won. I understand the idea of what we're trying to do here. And I agree. Like I need to see some just better commitment to the things that we're talking about in press conferences and what we know the team needs to do to be successful this year. I anticipate, and I really am hopeful that we get through this Colgate game. There's no injuries. We get some depth guys, some good looks, and that this team is kind of kicked into gear a little bit for Clemson.
The one thing that I want to see from this is I hope we can carry over the last 5 minutes, kind of like what you're talking about, right? Of like, hey, listen, now we can coach him hard. He's got a blueprint of how to coach of like, hey, we can't do this. But I hope that we take the confidence from the last 5 minutes of the 4th quarter and overtime and, build off of that. Because again, this was a performance where there was some really good stuff, some really good individual performances. Another quote he got a little bit testy when it got into the conversation about Angeli or Collins. Fans were calling for Collins to come in the game. I was calling for Collins to come in the game in our group chat, right? This isn't working with Angeli. I thought he was taking too long to throw the ball a lot of times, taking too many sacks. It looked like maybe a more mobile quarterback in there could be a dimension we could use. But that's why I'm a fan, and that's why Fran is the coach. And I will give Fran a lot of credit because Fran's MO is he's going to make the decision on the QB, and he's going to stick with the QB as long as he possibly can because he wants to give that position confidence. He doesn't want to rotate in that position. He wants a guy, and that's just his football MO. And you have to have principles, right? Like I said before, I'm a kicking guy, so I would kick all the time. And sometimes I'd be wrong to kick, but I got to have a principle. Man has to have a code. Omar, shout out Omar.
Exactly.
But yeah, Fran has a code, and his code is he's loyal and he's going to stick with the QB. I thought it was a fair question from the reporter, and I think Fran treated it a little bit like it wasn't a fair question, but I just think he was feeling the heat of having to stick to his guns when it was tough. But I appreciate, even though I was on the other side of the argument and I was with all those fans in the dome chanting, "We want Ricky," I appreciated Fran being able to stick to his guns and holding tight to what he thinks is the right thing. And it did end up being the right thing because Angeli ends up leading us to victory.
Yeah, I didn't hate Fran's answer for about 90. I hate isn't even the right word. I thought 90-something% of his answer I agreed with. Like I understand him standing up for his guy. He wants to instill, like you're saying, confidence in that position that he knows like these are unexperienced. These just aren't super experienced guys. Like Angeli's played 2.5 games now or 3 games. Like, and yeah, like it wasn't great for most of the game yesterday, but I understand Fran trying to stick up for his guys and he's talked about it too. Like, I don't think he wants this back and forth situation. That's not really a good situation either. Like, I think like he said, when it's Ricky's time, he wants it to be Ricky's time, and he wants to basically be like, hand him the keys and go. Putting him in halfway through a second half or whatever it is, like, that's not really super fair to Ricky either. And I think he thinks about that as well. He doesn't want to put Ricky in a bad situation too. So I actually respect Fran for that. Like, I think he's just trying to stand up for both his guys in a way there. I didn't think he needed to necessarily get chippy with the reporter, but I also I understand, like, it's after a game. Like,
emotions are high.
He's like, Fran's an emotional guy. He was clearly worked up. He just had the team run sprints after the game.
He was also feeling the pressure of that decision because it was a tough one to hang on to.
Like, I don't take too much out of him saying anything after the game other than he's standing up for his guys and trying to make sure that like they know that he has their back.
But again, I think we both feel like it was a fair question.
Also, on that side of the 100% a fair question to ask as well, based on how the game was going,
Yeah. So, I mean, outside of that, I don't have much else. I mean, the big thing was him going viral for the sprints, which, we'll see how the team responds to that. But overall, looking ahead to next week, Colgate, we should fucking kill Colgate. I want to see us kill Colgate.
It's a winnable game.
I want to see us kill Colgate. I want to see us play up to our own level, not the level of the competition. I want Angeli, Willis out of the game by the first quarter, Nixon out of the game by the first quarter, JRS, Dan Villari. I want to hopefully see a lot of Ricky Collins. I want to see a lot of Malachi James. I want to see a lot of Tremble. I want to see a lot of different guys being used. I want to see Hornsby and Russell get a ton of run. I don't even know if I want to see Cook.
I actually thinking the same thing. I don't think Devin Grant should play. I don't think Cook should play. Anybody with a nagging injury should not be playing.
Should not play. Buxton shouldn't play. I think you probably, you throw Deuce out there again. I only just want to see Deuce for a quarter. I want to give Delorier a big run, though. I want to almost use him every down, see what happens kind of thing. Yeah. That's what I would do. I would honestly go with, like, him every down. We talked about Motri Goddard before. I'd try to throw him in there a bunch. I'd see what you have out there. I want to see Diggs' younger brother maybe get some run. And I want to see, like, a bunch of those defensive linemen that we think could be good, maybe get some run, some of the younger guys. So I want to see, just all in all, a bunch of new guys playing, a bunch of fresh guys playing because we're just beating up on Colgate so much.
Totally.
I almost want to see
like,
Rich Bellin play. I want to go 3 QBs deep to versus Colgate.
definitely. I mean, I I'm a Rich Bellin truther. I think the kid can play. I think he's a little small, but I like how he looks, honestly, in some of the camp videos. But I'm excited for next week, honestly, because I do want to see a little bit of Ricky, and I think we will get to see some Ricky in that game. And I think like the fan base is eager just to see a little bit of him. One thing I do think is worth noting. Chris Carlson, the reporter, noted this yesterday on Twitter, and I thought it was actually a pretty interesting note. Angeli had really good support from his teammates when we scored those last touchdown drives, including Ricky giving him a huge hug on the sideline. Whatever we want to say about some of the performance, I do think the culture is still really, really, really strong with this football team. These guys support each other. It was not an easy game yesterday. I believe there's a report out there too. It might also be from Carlson that the players kicked the coaches out of the locker room during halftime yesterday, or the vets did. Like, whether that was a terrific performance or not, this team is tight. And I think Villari even said it after the game, like, the culture has shifted at Syracuse, and he noted, like, this is not a game he thought they would have won a couple of years ago. He played under the last couple of staffs. I tend to agree with that. And like we talked about, Fran's guys are going to fight. And yes, it may not be pretty at all times, but this team did not give up yesterday. We had a million chances to fold in this game. And I think just those couple tidbits, Villari talking about still the change in culture, the vets kicking the coaches out of the locker room at halftime, and then also Ricky Collins celebrating with Steve Angeli probably more than anybody else on the sideline, the number 2 quarterback after a huge comeback win. That stuff matters. It really does.
Shout out to Chris. That's great reporting. We love to hear that.
Totally.
I think we said it earlier, Fran has a lot to improve on when it comes to in-game coaching, but we know that when it comes to developing guys, when it comes to having a great culture, when it comes to recruiting, Fran knocks those out of the park. So, obviously we're going to continue to be critical of Fran when he deserves it, but overall, Fran is a great head coach. We're so happy to have him as a representative of our university, not just as a head coach, because he seems like just such a great guy. And he's the kind of guy I want at my alma mater. We're both, I don't even know if we've mentioned this, we're both alumni of Syracuse. We very much care deeply, not just about the sports teams, but about the university as a whole, and kind of how the university is not only perceived from a sporting perspective, but also just from like an institutional perspective.
Yeah.
And from an institutional perspective, when it comes to culture, when it comes to developing not only players, but developing men, there's not a better guy than Fran Brown. So we love Fran. And that's why we want to hold him accountable for some of the in-game stuff that doesn't go his way. But like you said, the culture of our program is fantastic. We love the culture of our program. We wouldn't change it for a thing. Shout out to Ricky for the way Ricky has handled, being the backup, being the number 2 guy, because I see him running out of the tunnel. I see him with the guys, not just Angeli. I see him on the bench with the receivers, the running backs, dapping guys up, staying engaged in the game. And those kind of things make a huge difference. They really do. Like, good vibes on a team matter so much. And that's what Ricky's kind of provided. And you know what? If you're anybody on that team and you're not getting a look or you're not getting a touch, but you see Ricky, who was brought in before Angeli to be the starter, name the starter, lose his position to Angeli, and then do nothing but be the consummate professional, look like a great teammate. Like, he reminds me of Jalen Hurts and how Jalen Hurts lost his job to Tua and did nothing but support Tua, be there. And it was after that, to me, that I was like, oh, Jalen Hurts is going to be successful. He's going to be very good in the NFL because he's a team guy, and that's what matters. And so I love to see what Ricky's doing. I think it's great. And I think it just goes to show the culture that Fran Brown builds is something we want at our university.
Totally. And I think I couldn't agree with that more. I love Fran. I love what he embodies. I think that's part of why the fan base is just so excited. The energy he's infused is just what he brings from, not just a figurehead, but what he embodies and what he does, like what he's trying to bring to the community, right?
From an institution perspective, not just football.
Institution, and just like, I think at a wider level, like what the institution means to the community of Syracuse,
exactly.
Right? Like, and I think it's something we're very proud of. It's something the community is very proud of locally, and like it matters. It matters, and something we've gotten frustrated about with the chancellor at times, and some like other things that
guys in the past. I mean, Fran's the first guy bringing back like Dwight Freeney. What the fuck are we doing not having Dwight Freeney at every football game he'll come to? He should be at every football game, at every football practice that he wants to come to. He should be there. Same thing with McNabb. Same thing with any of the guys that, are coming back. Look at JB coming back yesterday. Yeah. Wall spotlighted in film room, but Justice Ross Simmons scores a touchdown, and in the bottom corner, you could see JB going like, let's go. That's culture. Guys coming back when they don't have to. You know what I'm saying? JB, his team played. He's on the practice squad of Dallas. They played, and then he's got that day off. What does he choose to do with his day off? He chooses to come back, come to the Dome, walk out with the team, be on the sidelines, cheer on the guys. That's fucking culture. That's what I love about what Fran Brown's doing right now.